Larry the dog is dead. And as part of a time-honored tradition, Larry's death is finna be part of a wrestling storyline. One that'll lead to an all-time promo from Bron Breakker. One that'll infuriate self-important wrestling fans into oblivion, where they belong. It's still 2025, so a dead dog promo could be a last-minute winner of the coveted Most Disgusting Promotional Tactic Award. Let's go! I asked you, the barking dark humor PWB subscriber, should WWE use Larry's death in a storyline? And 88% of you said no. Lloyd, help a brother out.
I don't care. I never have, and I never will.
Most importantly, Larry's death will be used in a wrestling storyline to draw heat, because CM Punk wouldn't have it any other way. Subscribe and Mandoggo. Using real-life death, addiction, and trauma in wrestling storylines is a tale as old as Dave. The most self-righteous wrestling fans love lecturing people about what's off limits, especially in WWE where people are actually watching. AEW's biggest fan, Dementia Dave Meltzer, is no different. Dave Meltzer hopes WWE doesn't use CM Punk's dog Larry's death in a storyline, yet Dave sat idly by while his own brainwashed audience voted AEW's Christian Cage as the second best gimmick of 2023. Christian's gimmick that year was exclusively using real-life death in storyline. The fact that motherfuckers are already clutching their pearls over a potential dead dog promo makes me want to see it even more. Cook that canine. Not because I'm happy Larry died, but because I want main event wrestling feuds to feel as real as possible. Do you know who else does? Phil Brooks. If and when WWE does an angle about Larry, not only will it be approved by CM Punk, Cousin Phil will be the writer, producer, and director. If you don't think CM Punk will be the Tyler Perry of a corpsed canine story, then you don't know ball and you don't know Brooks. There's a long history of WWE using real-life personal issues to book scripted wrestling, and they don't always stick the landing. In 2006, Randy Orton cut a promo on Rey Mysterio shortly after the passing of his best friend and Hall of Famer Eddie Guerrero. Randy told Rey that Eddie was in hell. The intense backlash cast a dark shadow over the entire storyline. Fans got a happy ending when Rey Mysterio won the world title at WrestleMania 22, but the win felt tainted. Randy himself admitted to being uncomfortable with the promo, even though Rey assured him it's something Eddie would have wanted. In a 2015 contract signing, Paige made a crass remark to Charlotte Flair about her late brother Reed, who passed away due to a drug overdose. The backlash got so bad, WWE had to issue a statement saying it was all Charlotte's idea. Subject matter this personal is only approved as a result of the strong advocacy of the talent themselves. Notwithstanding that, WWE is ultimately responsible for what airs on its programming. But a lot of people, myself included, noticed how visibly uncomfortable Charlotte looked after Paige delivered the line. Becky Lynch roasted Ozzy Osbourne's recent death in a promo while WWE was on tour in the UK. Ozzy's daughter Kelly emerged from the shadows of obscurity to respond. But to be fair to Kelly, not only was she grieving, she didn't even get a heads up. Let me be clear in saying I will always defend any wrestling promotion's right to attempt to use a real-life tragedy in their angles. Wrestling thrives on the suspension of disbelief, so creative license has to be unlimited, and the best way to suspend your disbelief is with reality. Sure, there'll be a few broken eggs along the way, but how else are you gonna make a buffalo chicken omelet at Applebee's? The promos evoking Ozzy, Eddie, and Reed's deaths didn't work because Kelly, Randy, and Ashley were clearly uncomfortable, even if it was approved. But the lesson isn't don't use dead people in storylines, it's to make sure that whoever does diss those dead bodies can commit to the bit. That's where Cousin Phil comes in. CM Punk is a goat of all trades. He's one of the best wrestlers of all time. He's one of the best promos of all time. He's one of the best storytellers of all time. He has one of the best minds for the business, period. His catchphrase is calling himself the best in the world, and he's got a case. CM Punk is especially goated when it comes to inappropriate promos. In 2009, Punk was in a main event feud with Jeff Hardy. Hardy has a history of substance abuse issues in real life. CM Punk, on the other hand, is hardcore straight edge. He doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs. His only addiction is promos about people who drink and do drugs. Punk, as a self-righteous, straight-edge heel, clashed perfectly with Jeff Hardy's relatable struggles with addiction. CM Punk mocked Hardy for his lack of self-control, but this wasn't just a one-off. It was the premise of the entire feud, and it worked, because both Punk and Jeff committed to the bit. Punk stayed committed to the bit after beating Jeff Hardy in a loser leaves town match. Punk memorably dressed up like Jeff Hardy and was so convincing, fans cheered CM Jeff well into his entrance. Then he violated Hardy, calling the former world champion a junkie. All this only elevated CM Punk as a heel, and to this day, many consider Hardy versus Punk in 2009 to be the feud of the year. But CM Punk was just getting started. Legendary WWE manager Paul Bearer died in March of 2013. Just days later, during a WrestleMania feud with The Undertaker, Punk openly mocked Paul Bearer's death. He used Paul's voice to mimic a talking urn. The coup de grace came when Cousin Phil bathed When Cousin Phil bathed in the ashes of Paul Bearer like the water scene from Flashdance. This was a "fuck yo couch of dead people" promos, and it was brilliant because CM Punk, The Undertaker, and Paul Bearer impersonator Paul Heyman were all on board. If anybody's gonna do an angle about real death, who better than The Undertaker? And what better subject than a character literally named Paul Bearer? CM Punk versus The Undertaker that year is considered one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. The year before, Jerry the King Lawler had a heart attack on commentary. He was clinically dead for 30 minutes before making a miraculous recovery. The second Jerry returned to his desk, Punk and Paul were ready. The dark comedy duo spoofed Lawler's health scare with a hilarious reenactment where Paul Heyman faked a heart attack. Ironically, the biggest advocate of this type of angle isn't CM Punk. It's Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler is the king of Memphis, a territory known for its heated feuds and literal heated matches that sometimes featured a fireball or two. Like Punk, Lawler is celebrated as one of the best minds in the wrestling business. Lawler famously booked the Memphis territory alongside Jerry Jarrett, and in their booking office hung a poster with 4 words, one sentence, and only the real ones will say it with me. Personal issues draw money. CM Punk is an atheist, but that one phrase is his secular god. Punk desperately wants fans to believe that despite wrestling being fake, the tensions are real between him and his ops. Sometimes that's exactly the case, like when CM Punk burned AEW to the ground after falling out with the Elite. Punk had real-life heat with storyline opponents like The Rock, Triple H, Ryback, and even Jeff Hardy. But this is what makes Punk such a GOAT and the last of a dying breed. CM Punk is old school. He protects the business. He wants you to think his wrestling feuds are real. Real or not, he often succeeds, and it always leads to better television. I hate when people use the worst case scenario to illustrate why wrestling angles should stay away from shoot tragedies. Fans were infuriated when WWE used Eddie Guerrero's death in a storyline. But Christian Cage roasted dead bodies on a weekly basis, and it was the most over he's been since 2011. Phil Brooks mastered the art of blurring the lines. He's the spiritual successor to Brian Pillman. Don't worry, I won't make a dead Pillman joke, but CM Punk would if it was good for business. Fun fact, Brian Pillman's ring name was the Yellow Dog, a name that fit him perfectly because now he's just like Old Yeller. Oh, god damn it, I did the joke anyway, didn't I? In 2025, Punk is suddenly the griever instead of the Joker. And if you're paying attention, WWE is planting the seeds for what would be an extremely distasteful promo about Punk's best friend. Could you imagine? Larry Talbot was a rescue dog adopted by CM Punk and his wife AJ Lee. He's a big part of Punk lore and on the short list of the most famous pets in pro wrestling history. Larry was a key figure in the Brawl Out. The infamous fight caused an injury to Larry's teeth. Larry's passing was posted by WWE. As a tribute to Larry, Punk donned a jacket dedicated to his deceased dog. As touching as all of this is, I think it's also being done for business purposes. WWE wants fans to know about Larry's passing, so it hits harder when Bron Breakker puts him in a promo. Breakker will face CM Punk at Raw's Netflix-iversary on January 5th. The two are already going to hell on each other, and it all started with a series of great promos from Breakker. Braun went low when he threatened to steal CM Punk's wife. Punk fired back with a scorched earth promo where he buried the entire Steiner bloodline. That man fried Braun's dad and his uncle. With family members on both sides now catching strays, there's only one key family member left. And I have a fleeting feeling that WWE is saving that promo for the go-home show of Raw. On December 29th, I fully expect Bron Breakker to go scorched earth on Larry the Dog. CM Punk versus Bron Breakker is a high-profile match headlining WWE's first big show of 2026. A disgusting promo will add one last element of hate. It just makes too much sense for Bron Breakker to be the one to bury Larry. Bron Breakker's whole gimmick is that he's a dog. He's a throwback to his daddy, the dog-faced gremlin Rick Steiner. Motherfuckers bark at his mere presence. The promo almost writes itself. If and when it happens, it'll lead to garden variety outrage and fake observer awards for most disgusting promotional tactic. Aww. What's important to remember is that if the promo doesn't work, it won't be because it's wrong to make fun of a dead dog in fake wrestling. It'll be because the joke just didn't land. But is it worth the attempt? Of course it is. Do me a favor and don't believe anybody who feels like sensitive topics are off limits. Tragedy plus time equals comedy. Some of the funniest jokes ever written are about the deceased. Gilbert Gottfried, Anthony Jeselnik, Bernie Mac, and one of the best stand-ups in the country, Alfred Kunawa, are proof of that. New special dropping soon. The criminally underrated Lori Kilmartin literally has a special out right now called 45 Jokes About My Dead Dad. Plug your ears if you were at the insurrection, but after Charlie Kirk's passing, every comedy club in America turned into a workout room for dead Charlie Kirk jokes. Comedians are exploiting Charlie Kirk's death almost as much as Erica. By the way, I just watched this documentary and it made me realize that Erica Kirk is just like Diddy after Biggie died. All in the videos, all in the pyros, romancing. This cracker E. Diddy is mourning her husband's death like it's a freak off. Jesus Christ, so many dead people are catching strays on this app. It's an incredible risk to exploit real-life personal trauma for entertainment purposes. It's a high-wire act, and CM Punk is the evil Knievel of this shit. Punk's fandom often compares him to John Wick. If you ask the AI Google gods right now, they'll tell you fans often link Punk and Wick due to their similar intense persona, badass look, tattoos, dark hair, and wrestling background, with some even imagining Punk as a Wick-like character, but without the bourbon. John Wick crashing out and clapping up half of Long Island started when somebody killed his dog. When Bron Breakker cuts the promo I think he will, Punk will spend 2026 transforming into Keanu Brooks. R.I.P. Larry, and allow me to be the first one to exploit his death for clicks. So for more about the Brawl In, the Brawl Out, and Larry's involvement, check out this video. What's your idea for a Bron Breakker promo about CM Punk's dog? Tell me in the comments in all caps!